Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're completely decoding the complex biology of our daily brew to understand exactly how it impacts our body and our mind. If you've ever wanted to know the precise biological mechanisms behind your morning cup of coffee, well, you are absolutely in the right place.
So, here is the big question. Is your morning brew secretly controlling your mind? Okay, let's dive into this because the answer is actually hidden deep within a fascinating biological network that coffee taps directly into. As you'll see, it is a whole lot more than just a simple caffeine jolt.
To really get how coffee works, we first need to understand the hardware it runs on, which is the microbiota gut-brain axis. I want you to think of this as a bidirectional communication highway, or essentially a chemical internet. In this analogy, your gut bacteria basically act as the servers, and the chemical metabolites they produce are the data packets. They're constantly sending continuous messages back and forth from your gut straight to your brain.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the gut-brain highway. Meet your coffee-loving microbes, decode those chemical messengers, see your brain on coffee, check out a surprising immune system boost, and wrap up with exactly how to choose your perfect brew. All right, part 1, the gut-brain highway, and how scientists actually mapped this all out. To really isolate the effects of coffee, researchers set up a pretty rigorous chronological timeline. They started at a baseline, comparing non-drinkers to regular coffee drinkers. Then, they put those regular drinkers through a 14-day washout period. We're talking absolutely zero coffee. Finally, they did a 21-day reintroduction phase, splitting everyone into two blinded groups, one drinking caffeinated coffee and the other drinking decaf. This structure let them see exactly what coffee, and specifically the caffeine in it, actually does to us. Moving on to part 2, your coffee-loving microbes and how your gut actually reacts. Just look at this sheer visual proof right here. This heat map beautifully illustrates how specific microbial strains either bloom or fade away based entirely on coffee habits. The red areas indicate a surge in a bacterial strain, while the blue indicates a drop. You can see just how dramatically your inner microbial landscape shifts when coffee is consumed, taken away, and then brought back. So what this tells us is that regular drinkers and non-drinkers have vastly different gut profiles. Non-drinkers naturally have higher levels of bacteria like Veillonella and Haemophilus. But if you're a regular coffee drinker, your gut hosts a thriving, entirely unique population of coffee-loving microbes, specifically Cryptobacterium and Eggerthella species. Think about that for a second. Your daily habit is literally cultivating a specialized bacterial garden inside of you. Okay, section 3, decoding the chemical messengers as they travel from your gut up to your brain. How does coffee actually speak to your brain? Well, it happens through something called the phenolic pathway, which we can break down into 3 simple steps. Step 1, coffee polyphenols, which are just plant compounds, enter your gut. Step 2, those specific gut bacteria we just talked about break them down into phenolic acids. And step 3, these newly minted chemical metabolites enter your bloodstream and travel straight to your brain. It is an incredibly efficient biological assembly line. And this assembly line creates some very tangible results. By tracking these metabolites, notice how absolutely crucial neuroactive compounds are uniquely altered in coffee drinkers. We see significant changes in GABA, which helps regulate anxiety, and IPA, which is strongly linked to cognitive health. The coffee changes the microbes, and then the microbes change the chemicals that eventually shape our overall mood. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it physically connects all those dots into actual behavior. On the left, you have the microbial species. In the middle, the metabolites like caffeine. And on the right, your behavioral scores. This proves a direct, highly measurable chain reaction from a specific gut microbe through a chemical messenger straight to your anxiety levels and your sleep quality. Which brings us to section 4, your brain on coffee, looking at behavior and cognition. Let's lay out the behavioral data, because this is where it gets really applicable. At baseline, regular coffee drinkers actually scored significantly higher for impulsivity and emotional reactivity compared to non-drinkers. But when those drinkers went through that 14-day washout, taking a real break from coffee, their impulsivity and emotional reactivity dropped rapidly. But here is the surprise. While non-drinkers had a slight memory edge initially, it was the decaf group that saw significant memory improvements upon reintroduction of the coffee. When you track psychological distress during these phases, it reveals something completely fascinating. During the initial washout, withdrawal obviously spikes fatigue and drowsiness. But returning to caffeinated coffee,
measurably and rapidly reduces anxiety and overall distress. It essentially acts as a powerful, acute mood regulator for your brain.
All right, Section 5. The immune system boost and how coffee actually lowers inflammation. You see, this whole gut-brain axis has a profound connection to our immune response. In this study, regular coffee drinkers showed remarkably different immune markers. They had lower basal levels of C-reactive protein, or CRP, which is a massive marker for bodily inflammation. They also possessed higher levels of the anti-inflammatory cytokine IL-10 and showed a reduced secretion of IL-6 when their immune cells were actively stimulated.
So, what does this all mean for you? Well, the absolutely crucial point here is that coffee isn't just a simple stimulant. It is a full-blown immune modifier. Coffee's phenolic compounds provide a measurable anti-inflammation shield. By fighting systemic bodily inflammation, this shield actually helps properly regulate your gut-brain connection over time. Finally, Section 6, Choosing Your Perfect Brew, where we get into the actionable takeaways.
It really comes down to choosing your brew based on your daily goals. Do you want to lower anxiety and improve how you cope with stress? Caffeinated is your tool for sure. But are you looking to boost episodic memory, improve your sleep quality, and maybe even increase physical activity? Well, decaffeinated offers a completely different but equally powerful suite of benefits.
Now, you might be wondering, why does decaf remain such a powerful wellness tool? Well, check out this secretion of fecal phenolic metabolites. Both caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee massively increase beneficial phenolic acids. The non-caffeine components, those polyphenols we discussed, are incredibly powerful on their own. They are actively feeding your gut microbes regardless of whether you get that caffeine kick or not.
So let's summarize the core scientific principles here to make sure we've locked in the absolute most vital takeaways. First, coffee directly modifies the gut-brain chemical internet. Second, your specialized gut microbes physically transform coffee polyphenols into neuroactive messages that actually change your behavior. Third, caffeinated coffee is your go-to tool for aiding mood and stress, while decaf is your secret weapon for memory and sleep. And finally, both options provide a vital anti-inflammatory immune boost.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer. Armed with this biological blueprint of exactly how those roasted beans alter your microbes, your chemistry, and your cognition, how are you going to program your gut-brain highway tomorrow morning?